There you
Done.
go. All right. Welcome, everyone. Sorry about all that goofiness at the beginning, but it's all Bill Gates' fault. So if you ever see him, just punch him in the head for me, too. So for the color, a little bit of the box. Sorry, the box color, the box thing and light and shadow. So I'll say this, that one thing to think about is that this, before I get to that, is remember that shadow defines the drawing. So having light and dark, that defines the object. Shadow defines the drawing, and light defines the color. Right? Okay, so the more you have value, the less you need color. The less you have value, the more you need color. So in the middle of the afternoon, if you're painting and there are no shadows anywhere to define what's going on, the only way you can define it is now by using color and temperature, because you don't have value, you don't have shadow to define that. So you need something. And it's beautiful, beautiful way to paint, but it's the most difficult way to paint. So the more you have shadow, the less you need color. The more you have value, then you can use value. And that's what I said. Shadow defines the drawing and light defines the color. So the more you have light, the more you're going to need color. Any questions about that? All right, so let's go to, watch this now. I'm gonna share my screen and away we go here. And 2, 1, 0 onward. All right. You should see, do you guys see a big white screen now for me?
No.
No, what's going on? Hang on, where's my Zoomy? What's going on, Zoom? Hello, Zoom. Only, oh, Sue, you have to make me host again, I think. How do I make me host?
If
I did.
Down on the share screen, you can say,
yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Not used to that either. So share screen. There we go. And 1, 3, 2, 1. There you go. Now you should see a big white screen.
Okay, now it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
So we don't see the white screen, Doug.
Share screen. Well, it says I'm screen sharing. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Give me a sec here. Sorry. I don't understand what's going on. All right. Okay. Am I screen share now? Stop broadcast. I'm not sure why it's not showing you what I'm doing. What are you seeing from me? Where am I? Here I am.
We see your face.
Okay. Screen. You should be able to. 2, 1, 0.
There we go.
Does it show a big white screen now?
Does so.
Okay. All right. So here we go. The box, the idea of the box. Where the idea of the box comes from is it's all going to be based out of this idea of the railroad track doing this, and that things are closer together, further away, and they get wider as they come forward. So this basic design right here, which is the railroad track going to a vanishing point, okay, this whole idea of that is the perspective part. So the perspective part is basically 1/2 of the box. The other half is the shadow. So we're going to say we have a box. We're looking for a box. And if we put the box in perspective and put shadow on it, this will now define everything that we need to know about being able to draw something. So it's going to do 2 things for you. It's going to It's going to help you draw an object and draw an object in perspective correctly. The other thing that the box does for you is it's this rule. The more vertical a line becomes, the more it advances in a painting. The more horizontal a line is, the more it will recede, which is to say that your horizon line is horizontal. The more lines come forward, or sorry, the more lines get angly like this, the more they want to advance in a painting. So having a bit of perspective on your box is one thing. The second thing is this shadow, having a shadow side and having a direction of light that you can follow. So the sun is over here, you got light on this side, you're going to have shadow here and a shadow over there. It's this shadow side that defines what the light is over here. And that's important because your eye draws the line around this and makes an icon for it, and it makes it, that's what renders it believable. So you don't have to be able to draw well, or to be a really good draftsman to be able to paint, but the difference in drawing is this. If I do this and go like that and say, there, that's an apple. So you look at that and go, yeah, well, he's kind of the artist. I guess that's an apple. He says it's an apple. The difference between that and that, the bump that's in there is the difference between a cherry and an apple. And it's that slight difference. That's the amount of stuff that you need to be able to draw things well. If you're going to draw a barn, you have to be able to draw it fairly well. You don't have to be super accurate. You don't have to be do architectural rendering to get it to be right. You've just got to be able to draw it well enough that the brain can make an icon out of it. And as I said before, you have 5 seconds to sell a painting. So it better look good to begin with. All right, so let's go out of here now and let's go to a file and have a look. All right. So here's your basic idea of what I was saying. There's a whole bunch of boxes, a whole bunch of perspective going on there. This is your basic idea that the perspective part takes you to a vanishing point somewhere in there. All right. Everything that you see should be able to be put in a box. If you can't put it in a box, it's going to be tough to paint. If you can't put it in a box, you are then going to need to use color and temperature to get it to read. All right, so here's the idea of the box in perspective. The lower the box, the more you see the top. So the bottom box, which is C down there, that's regular, you're standing above the box. B is eye level, A, that's a cloud. Clouds are in perspective up top. And I'm going to show you how we're going to work on, I'm going to show you how to draw a cloud in perspective and show you how to put a cloud in a box and to look for the box. So basic idea here, you can see that cloud, the little boxes that are all there, the building down below, then the cloud is, I'm going to do this. I can go here. I know this. There you go. Oh, where's the, oh, you're in the way. Yeah, I got to get rid of you, Sue. Sorry. You just went to the side. All right. So this is regular on the ground. It's still in perspective with the clouds that are there. And these clouds are little boxes. You can see little boxes here. And then basically what I'm going to show you to do is it's called hide the box. So it's kind of like the body itself, your body. It has a skeleton underneath it that holds it together. The box is holding the drawing together, but then we do all of the skin on top of it and hide the box. Nobody wants to see your skeleton. So God was really nice and he threw skin over us so we didn't have to look at this scary skeleton. But the box is really the skeleton or the building blocks of your drawing. Oops, sorry. Let's get rid of that. Oh, come on. Turn that off then. So you want to draw a circle? Put it in a box. All those circles, I'm just going to show you this. So anytime you have an ellipse, anytime you have tractor tires, train tire, cars, anything around, windows that are round, I want you to think about this, that you have a box. And if you just put that circle in the box like that, you'll get a circle. And the reason we do that is so that if we have a box and it's in perspective like this, when we put that circle in there, you will now get an ellipse. And the box is what helps you make the circle correct so that it's in perspective, right? So take that and take the box away. I can now do this, right? And I can make, you know, maybe a tire out of it, but I put it in a box. And by putting it in a box and saying, well, this side's in shadow, that's in light, that's going to read for you right away. So it's the idea of trying to find a box. So everything, just about everything that you can imagine can be put into a box. All these little circles, half shells, round things, all these, I know that's kind of technical. I stole this from an old book I have, but it gives you the idea, right? So here's the idea. There's boxes. Put a person's face is in a box, right? Here's the front side. Here's the side. It's in a box. Whoops. Right, same idea. This face idea is in a box. I'm going to show you. I'm going to draw on a photo and show you where to look for all these boxes in a minute here. Feet in a box. Once I learned how to draw the box, I could draw faces so much easier. It was just way easier. Car in a box. Scooter, car, baby seat, I don't care. Desk, everything. If you can find a box, you can draw it. And you don't have to be this technical with all these little lines and stuff. These are technical renderings. You don't need to be that technical. Okay, so here's the general idea of having an apple. What you need to think about with all of this is this idea that that apple is a box. Light is coming from this direction, so there's a little bit of light on top. This is in shadow, and this is in half light. If you can think of that apple like that, it's way easier to draw that apple and get it correct. This way, let me get rid of that, and I'm going to see if I'm not sure what the next slide is. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's this idea. See these plans on these pears? How they've chiseled this is Carol Moraine. Hi, sorry. This is Carol Moraine painting. So you can see how it's chiseled out, and you get these flat edges on these things. So there's a shape here and a shape here. Here's a shape, here's a shape. It's not so round. That's one way to define an object rather than trying to make it round. If you want this object to be rounder and not so chiselly, you still should paint it chiselly and then smooth your edges out, and you'll render something in a much more convincing manner. Oh, sorry, keep forgetting to turn that off. Oh, come on. There. Can you see those boxes on there? If you draw those boxes first, then put the chiselly paint marks in, then you can round it out as much as you want. Your rendering and your drawing and your painting of cherries, apples, anything like that, doesn't matter. That is going to make it way, way more convincing. People just get too busy trying to be accurate drawing of something, and they're so busy trying to make it look original. They miss the whole underlying premise that there's a box under there, and if you get the skeleton of the object down, you're going to have a better drawing, and you'll be way more accurate doing this, and you will be way faster at it as well. More of those. All right, so here we see this little barn right here. Simple little painting of a barn. Look at the little box that's on that side. There is, right here, this is where that little part of the box, there's a whole box going on right there. There's actually another one right there where those are in perspective, and they're all pointing towards the same horizon line that's within the painting. But this is, see the shadow side? and the light side. That's the box that needs to be in there. And for that matter, this is the same as a cherry here. You'd have this and this, which is a box, right? And this side's in shadow. The only difference is this has just been smoothed out so that it's round. But there's a box in there. Sorry, go ahead.
Is that a Richard Schmidt box painting?
This is not. This is, I think, a Scott Christensen box.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, this is Scott Christensen. Yeah. I know, right? So simple, but it's this idea that you get this square box, but if you put this in and this in, it's giving you that side of the box that renders it so it just renders it so much believable. And you only need a sliver. The only guy I know that doesn't do this is Josh Clare. He's out of Utah. He paints these fronts of barns with no perspective in them, and they work. I don't know how he does it. They work. But usually if you put a little bit of a side bit on there and this little bit of a shadow bit on there, and you're consistent. So the light is coming from this way. It's very consistent throughout the painting. There's a box in there. And if you get that box, your painting is going to look very believable. Box on the boat, box on the building. There it is without. The one on the left doesn't, yeah, I've drawn on it. So you can see this is an Emile Gruppe painting. I just put this in because I don't know if anyone's coming to Nova Scotia, but we're going to paint in Nova Scotia. I think we're full though. Shouldn't even be saying that. Anyways, barn, same thing. Get it in perspective. You're going to be okay.
I think we have one more spot.
We got one. All right. These rocks are boxes. So you put them in boxes like this, and what you're going to do is then you smooth them out and you round them out. But the quickest way, I'm just going to go here and I'm going to show you this. So you want to draw rocks. Draw three little rocks right here. So anytime, let me just put some shading on there. Shading on there and shading on there. So we have three rocks. I want you to think about this. So this is called guilt by association. If you draw three of anything precisely so that they look like the object, anything that's around it that's very similar to that will act like that. So it's guilt by association. So it says that these three are rocks, therefore everything's rocks. So go back for a step. Three boxes, then you take the boxes. Oh, I'm still on a race, sorry. Then you take the boxes and you roundify them, put a little shadow on them. We'll round that one out, round this one. Maybe this one's a little more angly. This one's round, and then so you get here now three kind of rocks. Now, if you do this, put all these around, maybe one over here, maybe another one over here. All of a sudden, look how fast I can draw a whole pail of rocks. Because all of this stuff is guilt by association, because these three started out as boxes. I roundified them. I can even take this box now. I'm going to erase that out of there. I'm going to take this box and I'm going to do this with it so it looks a little more rocky, and maybe another big one up here like it does this. Right? I can get rocks in 2 seconds. But all of this stuff that's coming out, as long as I have a dark side and a little bit of a light side to it, all of these now will read like rocks. It's guilt by association. So you get the box, the light, now you can put a ton of stuff in. So this is great for all those river scenes when you have 80,000 rocks on a shoreline. You just got to paint 3-4 rocks, and then you've just got to put a bunch of marks on there, and they'll all read. It'll read like rocks in no time. Any questions so far? God, you guys are so noisy.
I have a question.
Yes.
I if you could go back and you just erased it, but you had put a circle in a box
Yes,
and that was a fairly symmetrical box. Each side was even. But when you were showing how to make it into maybe a tire or some sort of
yes,
wheel or something, the box shape shifted so that it made the circle elliptical. And I don't
yeah,
know how to get from the square box shape to the
okay,
other box that makes the circle elliptical. That's what I'm
okay.
having trouble with.
Okay, so it's basically, you're just talking about simple perspective. So what's, I'm gonna just draw this for you. So what we're talking about is you have a box that if this box is straight on to you,
Right,
like that, it's facing, you can't see any side to the box,
right.
right? So that's fine. You can put a circle inside that. That's nothing. If this box now is in perspective and it wants to go back somewhere to some horizon line that goes through there, right?
Right.
So
Yep.
this is now in perspective, right? This may stay the same, but whatever's on the side is going to have to, let me do this then and draw this up here. This circle may do this, but if there's an edge to that circle, it has to do that and get smaller as it goes back,
Okay.
right? So,
Yes.
so you've got an edge to that tire. Let's say you put this on there, you're going to have an edge to that or a circle. This edge here, which is going to be in shadow, must be in perspective.
Great. Okay.
This may be head on to you. Now, if you had a box that did you want to put a tire in 2-point perspective, you can do this where that does that and this does that, right? Then you can have this part of the tire here in perspective and this part as well. So if you got if you got you know, the front of a tractor where the front of the tractor is going to do that and go this way and the back side is going to do this, then you've got this round part here. Then you're going to have the wheels on the tractor like this. Well,
Right.
you've got to have these edges. These are all in perspective and these are in perspective. And the reason I put them in a box is because it's so much easier to put something in perspective when it's in a box. I can't get a round object in perspective. I get my tires all out of whack. As soon as I make a box for them, my brain just goes, oh yeah, I got it. Everything's the same, right? Does that help? Okay.
Yes, that helps tremendously. Thank you.
All right, so here's a mountain and it's like, okay, so basically what's going on, did I draw in there? Yeah, basically here's what's going on. There is a box, there's boxes within these mountains, okay? So what I want you to think about is, you know, we have the, I'm gonna change colors here, go black. So you have a box when it's on, sitting on the horizon line, you can't see top nor bottom. When the box is down below the horizon line, it does this. And again, you see the top of the box. But what happens with a mountain, the mountain is way up here. And so you get this box that basically does this, right? And you see the front side and the side, and all of this would be the bottom of the box, which you can't see because this mountain and hill is in the way. But you've got to think about this box. Oh, wait, I'm way on the other program. Sorry, I can't forget which program I'm in. You got to think about this though, that this box is up in the air. You cannot see this part, but what's happening here is there's still boxes. Sorry, let me get rid of all this. There's still boxes, and if you can find the boxes and the light and dark, you can paint a mountain. That's what we're going to paint today. So this is basically this idea that this box is doing this. That's, whoops, sorry. It's basically doing that. It's one, you can do one giant box like that. And if you get good at this, then you're going to break it down and you're going to go, this box is doing this, then it's doing this. And then this is actually coming back out again. And it's doing that, and that's doing that. So this is all in shadow. This is in shadow. That's light and that's light. If you can find those boxes in the mountains, it makes it so much easier to paint them. So much easier. And if you don't have this light on the mountain like this, if it's flat, well, you can paint it, but I can pretty much guarantee you're going to have a pretty boring mountain. It's these shadows that define everything. Right? Another little box right there. So it's this idea that, you know, it's basically, you know, here's this same thing, this box again, and this side of the box. So this is in shadow, this is in light. The only difference now is you're taking this box and we're changing the angles of all of this, and we're doing this. So you're getting all of this going on, and you're getting this shape going on. Now, I want you to think about this. When you go to put your first layer of paint on, these lines go this direction. You need to paint your brush marks this way. These brush marks go this way, and these brush marks go back this way again, and these ones go this way. Your initial lay-in should be that. That will strengthen the fact of the box. It helps strengthen it. Then you can put all these striations and all these other colors on, put the fleas on over top afterwards. But you get this right. Paint this way. So you strengthen the fact that that is in shadow and it's going that way. This one going that way, and the light is going this way. That is going to help. Just the brush marks alone that are on there will strengthen that box for you, make your mountain look very believable.
Can I ask a question about perspective?
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Okay, so I'm looking at this image. So when you start to look at the image and you're determining what your box is, are you going to use the mountain to determine the perspective, or are you going to determine the perspective beforehand? You understand? Do you know what I'm saying? So I see, I can see the lines of perspective in this, like, like with where the lines of the boxes went, but somehow you've got to determine a perspective for the entire painting.
Yes.
Because everything's now going to
Yes.
be lined up with that.
That's right.
So you
pick something, doesn't matter what. If there was a building in here, you could use the building. If there was a different mountain on the other side with more box, I pick something that is clear to me in my head, that I say, okay, I'm going to use that. That's my metric. That's where I'm starting. So I look at this and go, this is doing this and this is doing this. So I know that when these two lines join, when this line and this line meet, that, which is over there, that's where my horizon line is. So I now know I can base everything off of that.
Okay. Because that's what I was kind of looking for. Like, how do you, because you're going to somehow
pick
you're going to have to determine horizon.
Yeah, if there's multiple buildings in a painting, I will pick one building and say, this is now my horizon line. And I establish a horizon line in my painting so that my clouds go to that horizon line, my foreground goes to that, my everything is based off the one that you pick. Pick one, that's your metric. Now, if the other ones are wonky, and let me tell you something, one thing that happens, like for those of you that use, especially on an iPad, if you use an iPad to take photos and you zoom in, there's a terrible fisheye lens in your iPad. And when you zoom in, it bends the lines because it's digitally sort of doing this weird thing. It's not like a real lens. And so you'll find on a building that normally, you'd have this little building like this, right? And oh, sorry, that's terrible. So you'd get this building doing this. That would be normal. If you zoom in, what happens is your building ends up doing this and has the roof on it. And this will go up, this will go down, this will get bigger, and this will get wider here and smaller here, which is not perspectively correct. But an iPad will do that. So if you see that in your painting and you go, well, that's weird, see that in your photo, and you look at it and go, well, that's weird. I have to paint it like that because I guess that's the way it is. It's not. It's your iPad throwing things out. You have to pick one thing that's correct and then make everything else based off of that. Has to follow suit. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
All right.
Really
So
does.
yeah. And sometimes, listen, some paintings, you don't need a horizon line. Some paintings are just landscapey and they don't necessarily need a horizon line because you have no buildings, and some things don't have boxes, and that's fine. It's just the idea is if you can see a box in something and get a horizon line in your painting, you're going to have a better painting. So that was that. So here, that's the idea. Each one of these mountains is a box floating up in the air. And if you draw them in that way, your painting is going to be far more accurate. And again, looking for that box, I'm looking for the light side and I'm looking for the dark side. If I have light and dark, I'm going to get something to read. If I don't have that light and dark, oh, it's so hard to get things. And you know, we all know what happens when something isn't reading in the painting. What do? Put more paint on, put more brush marks on. It's not reading. I need more. I need more. If your painting isn't reading, you don't need more. You need less. If your painting isn't reading, it's because you have too much stuff on there. Oops. Here's a horse with a little box. So I'm going to draw this guy. I think I have pictures, and I have pictures of her too. I thought I had a picture of her. Yeah, right there. All boxes. All these little clouds are all little boxes up in the air.
It's absolutely crazy when you look at it like that, hey?
Well, and this is fine. When you can see the boxes and the clouds like that, it's fine. It's when you get these puffer clouds that have no boxes. They're kind of, there's no rhyme or reason to them. So it's kind of hard. I would put my cloud always in a box. And then if it's a puffer cloud, I just soften the box so you kind of can't almost not see it. It almost completely disappears. But again, the greatest thing, I'll say this too, I'll go back to here. The greatest thing about clouds too is this idea. So I'll just get rid of this. A little bit of land going on here, right? So remember this, perspective wise, clouds at the base near the horizon line are going to be horizontal. So this is what I see, and I'm going to do it actually this way. Hang on, let's double this up and I'll show you the difference. So you got a bunch of hills back here, maybe a couple little trees, whatever you want on here. So clouds back here, I see this all the time. They're near the horizon line or horizontal, and I see people go, oh, they have to get bigger. So they do a little bit bigger of a cloud. Then they'll do another big cloud here and another bigger cloud here, going all the way across. And all of this stuff that they're doing is horizontal. And if you keep this horizontal going on, horizontal lines want to go away from you, vertical lines come towards you. This gets very flat and very boring. If you did this and had these clouds down here, and you change this angle a little and this angle, and you made this come up, see, doing this is much more, this is more exciting than this. So the more angle you can get, so that's one thing. The next thing is when you do the box, again, you'll get this gilt by association. I should just make my eraser big. I'm too lazy. So you'll get this gilt by association going on where you have your land and maybe hills and a couple of trees and a barn. You will get these clouds at the along the horizon line. Fantastic. They're horizontal. Then you'll get a little cloud here. So you get this little guy here. He does that. You see the bottom of him. And maybe there's a little guy beside him there. So he's there. Then you're going to get this bigger cloud right here. So you'll see the bottom of that. And maybe there's a big one here. And he's coming out. Let's do that the other way. Sorry, let's keep them all consistent. Dougie, what are you doing? Erase that. Sorry. Hang on. So 3 clouds like this, put a shadow on here. This is the medium side. This will have a dark shadow because it's the bottom of the cloud. Dark shadow side. So you get these 3 clouds doing this. Now I'm going to puffify these. So I just come along and as soon as I make them puffy, I can add whatever I want to that. And in no time, I can get a whole bunch. These are kind of weird down here. And these will start to read the same by guilt by association. So I can get a whole bunch of clouds, and all of these clouds now, right? Those are all in perspective. They're all coming down to this horizon line that's down there. And I just have to paint 2 or 3 of these, and I can put all these puffy things in beside them, and everything will start to read. Get some few little clouds in there. There you go, right? All right. I think that's it. Okay, I want to do this right now. I'm not sure if that dude is on. I'm not sure where I put him in there. No. Okay. I gotta find him. Hang on, give me a sec. I gotta look for a photo here. Where I put him. Here he is. He's in reasons. Okay. Photo. Oh, reasons. There he is. Boom. Here he comes. There. Okay. Here's a portrait. I start by going right here. I can tell there is a box right there. And given that I've got that, I start to realize that this whole thing is a box as well. This is all in shadow and a little bit of shadow here, but mostly this is in light. See how the hat is in light and this is in shadow? It's the same for the face. But after I see that and get used to looking for those very, very simple breakdowns, I start to break this down even further. Here's the hat. And this nose has an edge that does this and an edge that does that. Let me do this for you. I'm going to show you a better way. Hang on.
Are you working in Procreate, Doug?
I am right now, yes. I'm going to add a frame. There. Okay. So what I've done is I put a piece of tracing paper over this. I'm going to make my pen a little bit smaller. All right. So this is the idea. That's a box. That's basically a box. But within that box is this little box that's right here. And this nose goes across. There's an edge to that. And if I can get that, now all I have to do is put this round hat in, put this in shadow. See how fast you could draw something and get something out of that by looking for the boxes? And I can see now that if I go back and turn him back on again, right here, I can see that should be in shadow. And this should be in shadow. And I can say that this is all the shadow family here. Now, if I turn that off, that is all I need on a canvas to start off a painting. If I can get to that level and have those boxes in there, I can now make a painting out of that. Because I can now come along and say, well, the hat was kind of round and his eyes were darker in there and the cheek, and he had a mustache. He had his ear was in there somewhere. This was probably darker under here, right? This had more reflected light on it. This was dark under here, right? In no time, I can start drawing something. So you can use tracing paper to suss out your boxes if you need to. The other way would be, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I'll do it this way. Hang on. Let's do this. I put that right there. Then you can go, I don't need that back there. No, I need that there. You can now do this and go, oh yeah, here is a box. I can say here, so this box, see how this line right here almost runs to this line. So we would do that.
Doug,
Yes.
when you're doing this on your canvas, are you using paint or pencil or what are you
Charcoal.
doing?
I use charcoal.
Okay,
Okay, so I would say I only paint sort of 3 ways. So if I really know what I'm painting and I want to be direct, I just paint. I don't even put a drawing on my canvas. I just start painting. So that's in a case where I want something very direct and I'm very comfortable with the subject matter that I'm doing. If it's like mountains for me, because I painted 85 million trillion mountains, then I draw with my brush. I just put a little drawing on with my brush. If I was to do a portrait like this, where I'm unsure of my drawing and my portrait skills are not the greatest, then I use charcoal because it's very erasable. So I can just wipe it off or make marks, and I can rub it out if I want. And charcoal and turpentine, Gamsol will take it right off, or even water would if you're an acrylic. So I just draw in charcoal, and when I'm done my drawing, I take some paper towel and I sort of rub the drawing off just so all the excess charcoal's off, and I'm just left with a little bit of a ghost of a drawing. But I use charcoal because I'm unsure and I make a lot of mistakes, so I want to be able to correct those mistakes as I go along.
thank you.
So could you use a pencil then too?
Oh, sure you can. Yeah, absolutely. Just pencil's a little harder to erase.
There are these absolutely awesome water soluble pencils. They have a little brush mark, like a little thing on the side of the pencil that looks like the tip of a paintbrush, and they dilute and wash off with water. Those are so good for underdrawing.
Oh, see, there you go. Tip of the day right there.
Awesome.
Available apparently at Swinton's Art Supply.
I don't even know that. And I work there. Jeez. Anyway, see how fast you can get a rendering that you can work from to be able to paint from? And you can still see the boxes are all in there. And so I would say, head-on portraits or, face-on portraits, very difficult to paint because there isn't a lot of boxes to look for, so they're difficult to paint. But anytime you have flash photography, or you take a photo and you don't have this dark side and the light side there, if you don't have that, man, it's really, really difficult to paint because you've got to be a master painter to be able to do it. And it just falls apart. And then, as you know, if things are falling apart, you start putting on more paint, you might micromanaging, and you start working in here because this isn't reading. And then this becomes too big for this because you weren't comparing that to that. And when you need to be working all over. So this method of looking for the box really simplifies things down for you to find the shapes. And I've said this 80 billion times, and I'll keep saying it till I go to my grave. You can't paint the fleas on the dog till you've painted the dog. Like, I'll say this to you, another tip for you. The only 3 things you need in order to paint You've got to go from large to small, dark to light, thin to thick. If you consistently do that and start putting in boxes, and when I say large to small, you cannot put the wormhole in the apple until you've painted the apple. Get your boxes, get your light and dark families set up. Then you can put all the fleas. I don't care how detailed you want to be. If you're a detail freak, nothing wrong with that. If you want to be loose and crazy, that's great too. But you cannot build something out of small little marks. It just doesn't work. It gets too busy, gets confusing, and so big to small all the time.
Could you repeat? You said large to small, dark
Yeah,
to
so yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna go, give me 2 seconds. Hey, where did everybody go? Hang on, I'm just gonna stop screen sharing because we're gonna go paint right away here. There we are. Okay, so this is the 3 things you really need to I harp on when I'm teaching is large to small, dark to light. It is easier to lighten a color than it is to darken a color. And thin to thick. Start out thin because thick paint will always ride over thin paint. If you start and get your paint too thick too early, it just gets goopy and it slides around. You get all sputchy and slurpy and it gets all gooey and it doesn't, paint doesn't want to ride. Then you get too many brush marks and too much stuff going on. Start out wishy-washy and thin and then build to thick at the end. If you follow those 3 things all the time, you'll have you'll have good consistent paint on your canvas. All right.
Sorry, Doug, can you elaborate on the dark to light? You'd think it was the opposite, like it's easier to darken than to lighten.
No, it's hard. Because darks, for the most part, darks need to be fairly transparent. You want to keep your shadows transparent and translucent so the light will travel through them and they will lay down for you. If you get your darks too opaque, opaque colors come forward and thin colors recede. So if you put dark colors down that are opaque, they pop. Then your shadows sort of flip up on you. Right? So you want to keep your darks fairly transparent. And so anytime you get any other colors that are opaque into your darks, they're going to start to lighten. And I can tell you now, after you've got light on your canvas, you can't paint a dark on there. You can't get a good transparent dark because there's paint already on there. It just doesn't work. Your paint gets murky. That's when you get chalky paintings. So you want to start, and then when I say dark, like when I say this, and then everybody starts and they all put the darks in all over the canvas. I'm not saying you have to put all your darks in everywhere at the beginning, but if you're painting a little barn scene, a little farm scene, well, and there's a tree behind the barn. So if I go to the tree, when I go to paint the tree, or let's say a cloud, I'm going to do a cloud. First is the cloud. I'll put the dark side of the cloud in and I'll work towards the light. Then I'll come down to the tree. Then I'll put the dark side of the tree in and I'll work towards the light side of the greens. Then I'll hit the barn. I put the dark side of the barn in first and I work towards light. So any given area, it doesn't mean I have to put the dark in the barn, the dark in the tree, and the dark in the cloud as I'm painting. Any given area that I'm working, I always start with the dark and work through the midtone to the light.
Thank you.
All right, are we ready to go paint? Has everybody got canvases and brushes and vodka to paint with? All right. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to go in the other room and I have to start my computer and I have to get it up running on Zoom as well. And then so it's going to kick me out of here and then you'll see me come back on. So just ignore me and talk about me and how my hair is terrible.
See my scared
whatever.
face? Nobody shut the meeting down.
Yeah, just stay.
Everybody,
You don't worry.
You
I'm
can
going over there.
turn off your audio and video and take a little break.
Yeah, you got 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, and I'm going to be up in the other room.
Hydration.
Away we go. Hydrate. Stay hydrated.
Hydration break, snack break. You all deserve it. I've been writing Doug's little tidbits down in the chat if anybody is needing to see that. at that, Doug's actually walking with us. Please don't take us to the bathroom.
I don't have a crutch either. I'm still stiff though.
Amazing. Doug is the proud recipient of yet another new hip, everyone. He is really working hard for us today.
Do you want there to be an underpainting, Doug?
Nope. You should have a white canvas. Sue, do you have the passcode for this meeting? I didn't write it down.
I do E,
Yeah, hang on. It was capital E, right?
capital E,
Yeah,
38,
yeah,
capital H.
yeah.
And anybody who thinks they're going to use it from the email, I actually, on top of everything, made a typo. Small K
Yeah.
and small U.
All right. So I can push this. Oops, hang on, I gotta mute.
Oh, and we have to mute one of those.
Sorry, I know that's me. I gotta go in here. Hang on, where's my little mousey thing? Hang on. Oh, you need to turn my screen sharing on for Ryan MacBook Pro.
Okay. Ryan MacBook Pro. I think you need to because you've got yourself set up as the host.
Oh.
Hate to tell ya.
I don't know where I am. I don't see myself. Oh, there I am.
Want me to pin you?
No, I should be able to. Oh, maybe you might have to pin me. Okay, you could pin me. That'll work. You pin Ryan MacBook Pro because that's where the demo is going to happen. All right, so I can now, unfortunately, I can flip between there and I can show you my palette as well.
Fantastic.
Cancel that. So, but the palette, you're going to see some glare because I have a light straight above it and it glares horribly. So I have a new palette that's made. I'm just waiting for the glass to come for it. That's on an angle. We'll fix that. But unfortunately, you don't get to be the recipient of that yet. Anyways, but if anyone asks, I can show you my palette, and I am going to have little bits of, I will have a little card so I can show you the color mixes, each one. Where I am here.
Okay,
All right, I'm gonna, just give me a second. We're gonna start doing a drawing here. I don't know where I am. I need to pin myself so I can see what's going on.
I can pin you to,
No, I'm just looking for me so I can put me up here. I don't know where I am. Ryan, there I am.
by yourself.
That's what I need to see. Yeah, there,
Yep.
perfect. Okay, everybody can see that. Let's just make sure my camera's working. Woo, yay, okay. Here comes the draw. Oh, I know what I gotta do. Sorry. I gotta put the stupid photo up yet. I gotta put my photo up. Hang on. Turn my monitor on. Come here, buddy, and let me see you. Oh, it's an Lexar. Oh, that's weird. What? Oh. Okay, you gotta wait a sec. For some reason, this photo won't work on this computer. What the heck is that? No. That's for tomorrow. That's the cow for tomorrow. Well, why is that? Doesn't want to read. All right, hang on. I gotta go find. I gotta go bring my other computer down here. Give me a sec. Well, I don't know why that. Everything doesn't want to work today. Hey, nobody likes me. Actually, you know what I can do? I don't need because I can see that. I'll click this. There, I'll do it on here. I'll have it on here. That's the work. I'll just use this, my iPad. What's it now? There it is. Boom.
I put a copy in the chat. If anybody wants to follow along looking at the photo in the chat, it's in there.
Right, I found it and I got it on my iPad, so it's
Excellent.
just gonna be kind of weird for me to do it this way. I don't know why it doesn't support that file, so whatever. Bye-bye TV. I don't need you now.
Mhm. I put a photo in the chat in the last call. Hang on.
All right, so the first thing I'm gonna say is, I want you to be aware that this photo is very square, but I'm working on, I think I'm working on a 11 by 14 canvas, which is not square. So I'm gonna extend the mountain out a little bit. But just so you're aware of that. Okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do is divide up my canvas and say, here's where my river's gonna be. And it's gonna come up to there. I have a set of trees that are coming up to here. We have trees to there. And now I have a mountain. And so I'm
Can I
gonna draw.
interrupt? I'm very sorry.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
can't see Doug's canvas at all on my screen. I can only see Doug.
Oh, I pinned Doug's canvas. Doug, I think maybe you have to make me host for a second so I can pin that for everyone else.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
And
same here. I only see duck's
Duck.
breast.
oh,
An
how,
arm.
how exciting.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, let's see here.
Well, Doug's MacBook Pro is on another little window.
Yeah,
It's just that it's small.
I can't, it's, I
You should
can't
be able to
see any
pin me now.
canvas.
here it comes. Okay, and spotlight for everyone. How's that?
Got
Okay.
it. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thing,
Dougie, between the two of us, we have this set.
sort of, yeah. All right, get rid of that. Put my photo back up. There we go. All right. Okay, now, whoops, what's going on over here? Make sure. Later. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to get this general shape of these mountains in. Not worried about the boxes quite yet. I'm just getting this shape. And I'm going to carry that one way over and drop it way down. Now, this in the middle part, there is a box. So this is where this one, see this comes up. I should actually have drawn on here and shown you the boxes, but this comes up and comes down, and there's a box right there. Does that. Then it goes like this. So this is going this way. This is going this way. Every one of these little fronts, see all these have little fronts to them? Those are going to be my little front endy things. This is where my snow is. This comes down to here. And there'll be snow on the approval. I'm going to make this one a little bit boxier here too. Get some snow in there. And this, I'm going to drop that way back. Get rid of that. Oh, there'll be snow up there. That's good. Okay, let me, what am I pinned on here? I should go back. Wait, let me try this. Sue, can you unpin me for a sec and pin my other one, pin my iPad again?
Yep, no worries. Coming back to it. Swim?
Give me a sec. I'm just gonna bring this up. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna draw on here. It's gonna be a little easier for you to understand if I do this. I don't know where my mountain picture went. There it is. Import. Perfect.
Do you want both up at the same time or just you?
No, just my iPad. If you can pin my iPad again.
Is this your iPad? Can you see us? Hello?
Yeah, it is. But I'm going to now, hang on, I'm going to screen share again.
Okay.
Oh, they're going to make me host again. Sorry.
That's okay.
Reclaim host. There we go. Screen share. Okay, you should see the mountain photo now.
Nope. No.
We see your hand.
Why am I not screen sharing? What's going on? Hello, screen share. Share. Well, I don't know why that kicked me out.
Sue shared the mountain photo in the chat.
Chat. If you're trying to get on to
It says I'm sharing. Why can you not see that? You just saw it before.
do you have to, as the host, you have to go allow multiple participants sharing screen or something again down there?
I am host. Is DS me or is DS, maybe I need to be,
DS is you,
yeah, that's right. So,
iPad.
okay. More. Meeting settings.
And we have you and Ryan MacBook Pro.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not, it says I'm screen sharing, but it's not showing up. So weird. I've never had these problems before. Share screen, yes. I still didn't stop. Let me stop it. There we go. Now we're gonna have it. There you go. All right. I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna go to here and this. I'm gonna put a piece of tracing paper on this. So you can see, this is what I'm looking for here. That's a box. And that's a box, right? So there's two very distinctive boxes right there, but I'm gonna make this as well a box. And I'm also gonna make that a box and this one a box, as well as these ones are all gonna become boxes. So these will all be shady. And the other side is going to be light. So we're going to get a bunch of, that's what I've drawn on my canvas. That's what I want you to be looking for. Up here, this stuff, I'm going to get rid of this. Oh, I can't redraw that again. Hang on. This stuff up in here doesn't really show a lot of boxes, especially that guy right there. So that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to make that into a box and I'm going to put a little edge on that like that. So I'm going to have a light edge. This will all be in shadow. Same with this one and this one. I'm going to add that. It's not in the photo, but if I add it, my painting is going to be way better. So I'm going to duplicate the colors from this area and this area. I'm going to repeat them up in these where that's kind of flat. So that's what I've drawn. That's what I've drawn on my canvas now. So you guys got to take your photo and you've got to draw that on your canvas now. Now, you can pin me.
We have no sound from you, Doug. Say something.
I'm here.
Okay,
Sue,
go.
you have to pin me again.
Okay.
And pin the canvas, and you guys can draw up your. Let me know how it's going if you got questions with the drawing, and I'll go through and watch you.
Okay. Host me.
Oh yeah, sorry, I've never had to do that before either. We should have set that for multiple hosty people or something.
Yeah.
You're hosty now. You're
Thank
hosty
you.
with the mosty.
Doug, what size is your canvas?
This is an 1114 that I have on here. So 9 by 12 will work, 1114. How are your drawings coming?
Good.
You don't need too much. Let me know when you're ready to get to start. We're gonna put color on right away.
Okay, I'm ready.
Ready?
Okay, so ultramarine blue, quinacridone rose, you're gonna make a purple. And you're gonna put some black in it.
Okay.
I'm writing the colors in the chat.
And you're gonna make that color. So ultramarine blue, quinacridone rose will make your purple. You're gonna add white and black to it till you get this. This is about a number 5, about a mid-tone, number 5. Whoops, where am I? There we are. So what's about a value 5? It's just a gray purple, is all it is. And make a fair amount of it too, because it's going to be all of our shadowy mountain color. So don't make a tiny little dot, make a big blob out of it. That's my puddle there. Now I'm going to use, this is a number 12. I'm going to use a number 12 brush. And there you can see that puddle's about the size of my hand. And that's a number 12 brush right there. Now it helps too if you're left-handed. So if you're not, well, you might have problems painting. Just kidding.
You better be.
Be very careful. Make sure you get all the little nuances in there. You're just going to do this. We're going to bang a whole bunch of this in everywhere I see those rock shadow colors. It's going to be tree, so tree there. Notice the direction I'm pulling my brush. So I'm going this way with it because this is the direction that shadow seems to want to go, that back side. So there. This looks like there's a bunch of snow up there, so I don't have to go too much. There's going to be a whole bunch right here. There. That's what you should have on your canvas now. At some point. Oh, it's so weird not having music on down here. I'm not used to that. Where's the tunes?
I don't think you want me to sing.
Maybe.
Oh,
Seems
no.
to run. Seems to run in your family.
No, only some members of my family.
You definitely don't want me to sing ever.
My color is too purple. How do I unpurple it?
What's the opposite of purple?
Orange, yellow.
Put some yellow ochre in it.
Okay, thank you.
And it's not, it's sometimes not a matter so much of if your purple's too purple, get the right value, get that mid-tone. Don't be too light or too dark. All right, your next color, let me show you my palette now. Your next color, see, that's the size of my hand. This is now the size of my hand. I have mixed the next color, which will be the light for the mountains. I have mixed that out of the same puddle. So I've taken this dark puddle and I put some of it here. I added white, yellow ochre, and quinacridone rose to it. So I'm getting this pinky. Oh, I don't have my easel up, sorry. That's what you want, is this thing. It's gonna, maybe I don't have enough pink in there. I'm gonna add a little bit more. I can just, when I look at it, there, that's better. There's just a slight pink hue there. It's very gray. It's about two values lighter, if not maybe 3 values lighter. Little bit of pink in there. That's your light side of your mountain.
So say that
This
again,
tool-
yellow?
And this is where I added a little bit of yellow ochre, a little bit of quinacridone rose, and a lot of white to that shadow mixture. The reason I mixed that in with the shadow mixture is so that they all have the same DNA in them. So the light is carrying some of the dark, and the dark will carry some of the light. So they come from the same family, though they're different.
I'm writing the color mixes into the chat box if anybody is a little bit behind.
So the light, when I come to do the light, I'm just going to sort of pull it the other direction. Oh, there's snow up there. That's right. And I'm just going to fill up this area here.
Doug, when I look at the white in the photo, the strokes appear to me to be going up and down.
Yeah, they will eventually.
Okay,
But let's get this angly thing going on. So you want dark to go that way and light to go this way. And when we put some reflected light and all of the fleas on in a minute, that's when you can start to pull your stuff in different directions. I think I want that. I'm going to pull this dark here. I left a few white spots there. That's fine. That's where that snow is going to go. So I'm not so worried about, going all around, make sure all those little white spots are there, because that's thick paint. I can put that on after and put it over top. All I really need is to if I get to this point, I'm go.
what value would you say that Topi is?
That is a really good question you ask, because it depends on which value finder you have. So Munsell value scale, basically Munsell value scale says that 1 is white and 10 is black. But this value finder that we sell in the store is opposite to that. And I don't know what, so it gets really confusing. This is a number 5. And if you have this value finder right here, you'll see that dark, which is a value 5 right there. Yeah, that's about a value 5. So this is a value, looks to be, I can't read it. It's got so much paint on this thing. It's a value 7. So it's 2 value shades away, which would be about right for a mountain. You don't want this to be further away than 2 value shades away. Otherwise, it's going to pop too much. And mountains, that's kind of, you got to keep them, push them back, push them back. Did that help? Did that? And
Yeah, yeah.
There's 2 different scales, so I never know which one. And I don't have my color chart, fell off the wall the other day, but the one that I made is the Munsell scale, which is the correct one. But this stupid thing that we sell in the store is opposite. It's made by the Color Wheel Company, and it's backwards. So I say a 2 to someone, and they're like, 2, isn't that really dark? I'm like, well, no, it's light. It's not. I don't know. Anyways, all right. Okay, hang on. Here's what we're gonna do next. If you get to this stage right here, what we're gonna do next is we have this block of color, and we have this block of color. So basically, what we're going to do is you're going to take this block of color and this block of color. They're next to each other. We're going to do this. We're going to interseed them. So they start to intermingle with each other. And what that means is you now take this a little, I'm going to use now, I'm down to a number 6 brush now. You're going to take some of this dark and you put a few little marks like that in there and a few into the white. So you come along these edges where the cracks and the fissures are in the mountain. You just put a few of these marks in there. Maybe one up there. Put one over there. Maybe a couple in there. And I just do that. So you get this, you see this little bit of feathering that goes on. So it's I'm breaking those 2 up. Gotta get another brush, another light brush. Hang on. This will work right here. And then I'm going to take the light and I'm going to run it into the dark as well. So it breaks up. And as soon as I start doing that, I start to get things look like those rocks where the mountains, you know, the light's just catching the rim of those little bit of lights. Maybe this one hits out a little. And if you're painting, when you put this light over top of this dark, your paint better be a little bit thicker. You might want some medium in it. And this is where you can start to run a few of those verticals in there. So you should start to get something that's starting to look like a mountain starting to show up. Don't put too many fleas. Okay, so this is dark. This is light. We don't have a medium in there. That's fine. There doesn't seem to be much of a mid-tone going on in there. But this is dark, this is light. So what you do now is we're going to come into this color and we're going to put a little reflected light in there to make that light bounce around. So you take that same color, that initial shadow color, you scoop up a little puddle of it. Oh, I didn't put any manganese on. What am I doing? I'm missing a color. There it is. let me get this color mix and I'll throw it up for you so you can see it. So you take that same puddle of purple, test that on there. Too dark. So I'm gonna lighten it just a little bit. Purple. Okay, so your next color is, where's my thing? It's this color, your shadow color. I have now put manganese blue in it, a little quinacridone rose, and white. So I'm making a lighter version of a purple, which is right there. I'll put it right below that. So you can see it's just slightly lighter, grayer, a little more purple. Oops, where's my thingy? Where are you? There you are. And that color, I just take it and you can run it along here and put a little bit of it over top of that. Will give you, in all of these lighter, give you some reflected light. It's just an extra color, so it looks like the light's bouncing around inside that mountain. These values got to be very close together. They can't be a whole value shift away, or it won't, or your reflected light won't work. Reflected light can only be half a value different. Oh, we got glow going already. I'm so excited. You don't need much, just a little bit in there. It's just slightly lighter, so it's reflected light bouncing around. Okay, how are we doing, folks? We good? I don't want to go too fast.
Everybody okay?
They're concentrating so hard. They
Doug,
can't even talk.
is the color you just put on a slightly darker version then?
Lighter. It needs to be lighter. Reflected light is always lighter than the dark.
Okay, I'm thinking about those two vertical-ish marks.
Oh,
that-
sorry, I'm just testing. I'm sort of jumping ahead here. So that's all. This is called an accent color. So this dark that I'm about to put in, I've gone now, if I put that over there, it's a half a tone darker. So this is the reflected light down here. That was your very first color you put on. This is slightly darker. That is you put that right in these crevices here where the light can't get in. You put that dark in there and put a few of these striations in. That's what's going to help make that light really pop. You put the darkest dark against the lightest light and watch how that starts to make your mountain start to pop. Oh, it looks like those crevices go right in, those dark crevices go right in the mountain. So I put it right up against wherever this light is. So that's what's called an accent color. One of the 5 kinds of light. Light, medium, dark, reflected light, accent. I'm going to push the blue content in it a little bit more. I think I want a little more blue in there. Especially want this one to be dark too down in there. That's better. So you see how that starts to build up and start to look rocky. So that's your dark accent. And right up against that, I'll go a little bit more yellow here. I know I'm going really fast here, but this color here, where is it? This is light. I just took the light side of the mountain and I added yellow ochre to it. So I'm making a highlight. I'm just going to do this and I'll let you guys all catch up. That goes up against where that dark is, where you can put your accent light color. And that makes the sunlight look like it's streaming or popping across that mountain. And that's where, if you want, you can, you could run a few of them vertical if you want. Oh, I just so want to finish painting this.
It's got to be so hard to restrain yourself.
It is, because I paint so fast and I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I got to put the sky in and I should put the dark for the trees in so I know where I'm at. And I'm like, it's like a very hard for a guy, ADD guy like me to be sitting here. I'm doing the Holly pee dance. All right. How are we doing? Anyone falling behind yet?
Not that I can see. Pamela is asking if the dark accent color was made just by adding a bit more manganese blue to your shadow color.
No, I added more ultramarine and maybe a dot of black. The reflected light had manganese in it. This dark accent is just more ultramarine with a little bit of black. It's the base color with just a little bit darker. And don't get crazy. You don't have to put 80 million strokes in. We still have lots of snow and other marks to make. There's lots of fleas to go on. So don't get too flea-like with all this stuff. All right. So I'm going to jump ahead here. Manganese blue, ultramarine blue. So like 70% manganese, 30% ultramarine with white. It makes this really light, vibrant cobalt blue color. That is your sky color. And so
Say
just
that one again, Doug?
sorry?
Say that one again.
So it's like 70% manganese, 30% ultramarine, and then a boatload of white. Okay, so when you go to paint your sky in, it's fine. You can bash your sky in. So I don't care that you come in and just go, la, 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 there's some sky. When you come up to the mountain here, this is where you want to start carving out a few of those shapes and maybe drag that down into there. And you want to start carving out some of those little peaky mountain shapes. Then you can go back up into there if you want. Right? And that'll start to define those mountains. And if you want this little angle here, you can come up and angle that one out. And here I wanted a bit of a dip in there. Now your mountain will start to show up and look like a mountain, because once you put that sky in, the lights start to read right. There you go. Oh, we got a mountain happening.
Wow. This. Right.
what are you doing right now with the corner of your brush, oh wizard?
I'm just farting around. Just waiting for you
Am
guys.
am I supposed to type that into the chat?
Yes, you could type that in.
Okay, you dare me?
I'm going to the counter store, and then I'm gonna drop by Daniel and Katie's to see Ruby, and then I'll be back.
Okay,
I made pasta salad, don't touch it, I need to get tomatoes.
okay.
If you do.
Just well, I'm not. Don't worry. I'll eat the salad before we
No,
go.
you can, just.
I know. All right. If you're there, can you ask them, see if you can grab me a mirrorless camera while you're there?
I'll unmute you, Doug, when you finish talking about salad. Doug, I've got you muted. Are you talking? You have to unmute yourself.
Sue, I've got a couple of questions in the chat.
Okay, I'm coming to look at them. Doug, if you're there, turn your chat on, turn your voice back on. The value of the blue color of the sky is very, very similar. If you look at the top of that warm gray on the mountain, the value of the sky is very similar to that.
Sir, did not know I was muted, so.
I muted you because you guys were talking about salad.
No, no, she told me I'm not allowed to eat. We're going, the neighbor's having a giant party, so we're going there and we have a salad, and she knows that I'll go upstairs and go, oh, there's salad, and I'll eat it all. So,
Yeah, you will. So Pam's got a question about the value of the blue in the sky and what is the next color used in the sky?
Sorry, say that again. The value of the sky. Yes.
And the next color that's used in the sky. So I wrote a note about 70% manganese, 30% ultramarine, plus a boatload of white.
Yes.
Color in the sky. And then I also wrote that the blue of the sky is really, really close to the value of that warm gray at the top of the mountain.
It is.
So those were my answers when you were muted, but I don't want to be wrong.
This value and this value are very close together. Sky has to be very, very light. Keep it light. Don't make it too dark, or your painting will look very heavy and laden. But if you keep the sky light, and even for that matter, for technically, I would have it way lighter back here and greener and redder up here. But I'm not going to worry about that for today's class. I'm more worried about that you're getting this box idea in there, that we've made boxes out of this.
It's looking very beautiful.
Okay,
And
so
the next color that was added into the sky was just
that,
more white or what?
it was 70% manganese, 30% ultramarine with a boatload of white.
Yeah, I got that, but it looks like you added a different color of.
Oh, I did. I put a little more ultramarine at the top. I was just bored, so you don't have to, but that was just me, like standing here going, whoa. Anyway,
Okay, thanks.
so you take your sky color now, that same color that you put there, and you put a dot of, where am I going here? Over here. If you put a dot of quinacridone rose in it, so it turns a little bit more purple, you're going to make that color. This is the shadow snow color. So
Can you show us
everywhere.
that again?
Sorry, say that again. Sorry.
Show us that again. Beautiful.
So it's the sky color, but it goes to mauve. It has a little bit of purple in it. I put that dot of quinacridone. Don't put a lot because that quinacridone is really strong. but that is gonna have a little purple in it. And that is going to go wherever you see a bit of, oh, and see that's, I can see right now, it's, when I put that on there, it's almost a little bit too dark. I'm gonna have to lighten it, so I'm gonna put a little bit more white in it. It just got a little bit dark. You want it to pop a bit. That's better. So I come along, and everywhere where I see that purpley blue in the snow, I'm gonna put a little bit of that shadowy color in there. And especially here, where it runs along this crevice like this. There, I see a couple of dots of that there. Put a little bit of that on. And up, right up in here too, it goes up the valley. So when you go to put this on, you look at that, just swoosh the brush and turn it a little. You got to tap your brush off because you'll pick up that undercolor and it'll turn it too dark. So tap off. But I can come in here now and put all of that in there for the shadow snow, which will sit down in that little crevicey valley down in there.
Remember that, swoosh and turn, then tap off. Sounds
Swoosh, turn, tap.
Sounds like a dance.
I'll mix up some more. And it's got to be, this has got to be fairly thick in here too, so. There, that's better. And I'm going to put a little of that down in there too. There we go. Look, we got shadow snow. Woo! Shadow snow, I love you.
So are you putting light onto the tops of the boxes in there? Kind of, sort of?
Excuse me, I did not understand that question.
So those linear marks that you're making with the snow color to represent snow, but they also kind of indicate planes of the box.
Yes, this goes this way. So the white, when I put the highlight snow, it's going to go that way. That's the box part that really makes the mountain stand out. So these, like this, if I wanted more marks, I would put those ones going this way because it makes that mountain read more. That's the shadow side going that way and the light side's going that way.
Fantastic.
Okay, for your light colored snow, remember this, that as white goes away from you, it warms. It's the only color that does. Every other color cools as it goes away from you. White will warm as it goes away from you. And so we've got those purple shadows in the purple shadows for the shadow color of the snow is very violet. I'm gonna take white and put a dot, and I mean a little dot of cat orange on it. Can't even see it. It's so white, it won't even show up. But it's basically white that's warm. It doesn't look orange, it just looks warm. You can't even see it on there because it won't show up on there. It'll show up on here though when I paint it on here. So I take like a big pail of white and I put a dot, and I mean a dot of orange in it, just so it warms that white up. I put lots of medium in it. This should be soupy. It should be like sour cream now. It should have the consistency of, well, maybe, yeah, like sour cream is perfect. And that's where I come along, and I'm just going to drag my brush along and let it dance across here. And you'll get the snow to show up on there. Now remember, you see on my brush, I've picked up that blue it's picked up from the going over top of the shadow color. It's on both sides. I flip my brush over because I use both sides. You've got to tap that off. If you don't, you'll contaminate that snow color. And if you don't keep it as fresh as this, your snow will look really laden and it won't pop. And probably the toughest thing I had to learn was that tapping off. I always forget to do it. You got to tap off. I'm used to it now, but man, for the longest time, I'd forget and I'd go back to the color and I would get that color. Your white will get sullen and it will just look like crap. But there, you get that on there and look, now you got mountains with snow. Oh, da, da, da. And again, like what Sue was saying, sometimes the snow will follow the shape of the snow or follow the shape of the valley. But other times, if it's just sitting on those ridges, that's where you can take this, where this follows along, it's going to hit there, and it's going to come down like that. And this one, maybe it comes down here. This one too. Whoopsie, didn't tap off. Did you see that? Huh, busted. And this one might come down along there, right? Which will start to make those little ridges in your mountain. Ridges, yay. Don't push your brush too hard. Be delicate. Let it sort of dance just across the top.
Swoosh, turn and tap, right?
Swoosh, turn and tap, exactly. And then this is another trick to help your mountain pop. You come along, and I know there's not a lot on there, but here, you put the snow up on these ridges and along the top here like this, and watch how that makes the mountain stand out against that sky. That got a little heavy, so I stand back and I go, oh, that's a little heavy. That one, I soften that one. That's good there. Oh, how fun was that?
Looks just great. To think that something can go from a box and turn into something so beautiful.
Well, the idea of the box is that people try to build all of this out of all these little nuances and throw there's a bit of this and a bit of this and a bit of that. You can't paint that way. You've got to make these big shapes and then put all these little fleas on after. Oh, that's so good. What time is it? How much time we got? Am I going too slow? I didn't even pay attention to time. I mean, I'm not going anywhere, but I don't want to keep you guys here all day either.
It's 12:24.
All right, and we started, where were we going to? We were going
Started
to,
about an hour late, so we were going to stop around 12, so we could stop around 1. Does that give you enough
okay.
time?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm going nowhere.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
If you got to go, you got to go, but you can always watch the recording. There'll be a recording of it. All right, let me know when you're done, Snow, and you're all caught up, because I'm gonna scrape my palette right now and clean up a little area, because I'm gonna go to the trees right away here, and we're gonna bang some trees in. Scrape Daple went. Hello, Mr. Scraper, where did you go? How many of you, is anybody working oil? Or are you guys all acrylic painters?
I'm oil.
Yes. One lowly
Yeah.
boy.
Working in oil as well.
Yes.
Acrylic.
Oil, oil.
Excellent. Anybody ready for trees?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Dark, transparent green. Ultramarine blue, little bit of cad yellow light, and some black. It's a very, very dark green.
Sorry, Doug, can you say that again?
Ultramarine blue, a little bit of cad yellow light, and a little bit of black. I just want that blue to turn green, but I don't want it to be too bright, so I put a little bit of black in there. Big shapes, pointy tops. These are pointy trees.
I like how you're massing the tree shapes and pulling the tops out of the mass as opposed to painting every little tree.
No tree, just this is a big mass. The only place you're ever going to get detail is when you have a high value exchange, dark to light. So we have a high value exchange going on, dark to light there. So I'll put my tree tops on there. That has detail. This, I don't care what goes on in there, because in that dark area, that's where I will do this now while it's still wet. I come along with a rag and I'm going to do this. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to wipe some of this back. And look at the little bit of glow that starts to show up inside of there. That'll be your reflected light for your trees bouncing around in there. And then we'll put the highlights on the top of them. So you take that exact same color that you just mixed and you put cad yellow deep into it. And that cad yellow deep will lighten it. You don't even need to put white in, it'll lighten it. So that's your next color right there. It's going to be about a value lighter, but it's way warmer. Looks like kind of just an olive green. I guess you'd call that olive green. So I put it in the same mixture. I took the dark and all I did was put cad yellow deep in it. And I come along the edge of these trees and I'm gonna put a little of that on there. This will be your mid-tone. Oh, it's so good already. So good. Not every tree has to have it.
Oh.
Put a little mid back tree if you want, a little bit back there, just a bit, whatever. That's your mid-tone. For the highlight, you're going to take that same color again and put cad yellow light in it, which will now lighten it up even further. And that you can just put right on that very edge, put a little bit of that on there, and it'll just pop some of those trees right out of there. If you get it like this, it's a little bit harsh there. Just drag this brush across, make some tree shapes. Now, if you want to do something fun, don't tell anyone this, but green and purple love each other. They're secretly madly in love. And if you take a little bit of purple, if you come in here and put a little bit of purple in there, same value, you can get like a wacky thing going on that's just fun. Oh, what's that little thing that came up? Oh, perfect. They're secretly in love. They're in love. And even if you go a tad redder and a tad lighter, you can put a little of that. It's just a fun. That's what Michael O'Toole used to do that. He used to always put those little purples in his darks. Oh, so good. Oh, he's just a master. Master blaster.
The color surprise.
Yeah, the color surprise. That's it. It's like, show me the madness. Where's the madness? All right, let's go into the background and get that green hill back there in before we go and put the embankment in, and then the water takes 2 seconds. But I'm going to go in the back. And so if you don't have it, you can make it, but I have Viridian green. So I'm just going to take some Viridian green, a little cad yellow light, touch of white, and just put that on here. So put it next to that, but that's kind of your next green, which is a very blue green, because I'm using more manganese. It's kind of got more manganese in it, but I just use Viridian. I didn't use manganese, but if you don't use manganese to make your green, this is a very cool green, and it's even lighter. And that is going to go in between the trees to make that hill back there. You got to be careful if you're in oil. If you're in acrylic, you're lucky because it'll be dry and you'll be fine. But I can get that little hill to go back there. And I see here, oh, I lost my mountain color. I gotta make some more mountain color. Oops, that shouldn't be too hard. That'll work. I'm gonna fill that up because I don't want that green to go that high. So I just made a little more mountain color for that. That's better. And if you have to go back into your tree and clean it up a little, nothing wrong with that. There you go. That's sitting nice. I don't have a problem with that. So if you take, whoops, wrong brush. Sorry, give me a sec. If you now take that same green that we put in the hill back there, sorry, I gotta get more paper towels. If you take that same green that we used in the hill back here, and you put a little cad orange in it, just a dot of cad orange.
In the same green.
This green that we had, this limey color there, I just put a little cad orange in it. A little bit of white. Sorry, I'll get this color. It's probably the same as the mid-tone of the tree. Yeah, it's close. Anyways, this color right here. So it's this, which is, it's very close to that. Maybe your mid-tone a little lighter. I'm going to use that. And the reason I'm putting orange in, warm colors come forward, cool colors recede. So I'm going to warm this because I want it to come forward. And that, I'm just going to slap a couple of brush marks on there up against that. That's going to be my bank. Like that. Now remember, I put this on very directly here. I banged it in, I just put it, I didn't worry about the edge or anything. But just like the mountain where we did this and joined those colors together, you're now gonna take that green and it's gonna break up in between there like this. So you're gonna put a little bit off there. So it looks like it breaks up and goes up into the trees. But I don't try and do that all at once. I put the base on and then I break up the edge. So I'll put a little break up in there and then exactly the same thing that I did with the mountain. I'm going to take this dark from these trees and I'm going to put a little bit of it into the green like that. So that breaks that up and you get your shoreline starting to work for you. If it gets too goopy and you don't like it, you can always scrape, well, acrylic painters have no problem, but oil, scrape it back, wipe it back, do it again. Don't be afraid to hit it again. And I'm noticing now as I stand back, these kind of trees back here got a little warmpy, so I'm gonna deep warmplify. There we are. Anybody need help? You guys doing all right? I don't hear any tears.
Doug, you're working on an all white canvas. Do you ever do a background color, a base color?
Yeah, sometimes more so for two reasons. Either I do, well, there's a few reasons. Sometimes if I want a moody canvas, if I want something that's got a little more atmosphere to it, I will tone the canvas. Sometimes if I want a really funky painting and I want the painting to pop, like I did for my other master's group thing, we painted bananas the other day. We all painted, we did a banana painting, but I really wanted it to pop, so I painted it on a red. I toned the canvas red first, because that red sort of pops out and it makes it so vibrant and so funky. So those are two reasons that I tone my canvas. The only other time I really paint on a toned canvas, it is because I probably screwed up a painting and I wiped it off so the canvas is toned and I'm just using another canvas. Because I wipe off a lot of paintings, believe me. I got a lot of barfers that come out. The brush doesn't always give you a good painting. Stupid brush. Mostly though, I like, especially mountains. I like a white canvas for mountains, because the glow that comes off, the white comes off, makes the mountain feel very airy. And it took me forever to figure this out, but mountains have more to do with the sky than they do the land. I know they're rocks, I know they're granite, and they're huge, and they're big chunks of rock, but the value difference between here and here is very minimal. This got to be soft, and it's got to blend with the sky. So working on a white canvas leaves that mountain very fresh. But if you want funky mountains, you want to be Randy Hayashi or whatever his name is, paint on a toned canvas, because you can funkify it too. Anybody ready for water?
Almost.
Okay, I'll give you a minute.
Looking very good from here.
All right. So for the sky color, for the water, I'm using the sky color, the same color that I had in the sky. I'm just putting a tiny bit more ultramarine in it, just so it's just a little bluer. And I make a big sloppy puddle. All right, and then I very diligently and very carefully put that on there, making sure that all the ripples are on and everything is fine. And make sure those ducks, those 3 ducks, you got to get those in there. And all of a sudden, oh my God, we got water. That's so cool. Oh. So the trick is just to slap that in and not worry about it.
I love what happened where it touched your orangey green.
Right, so you get some soft edges in there, but now I'm going to take that little bit of, better do my test strip. I got to give you a test strip. So if you mix, I just mixed my maroon and orange together. That's giving me rusty red. It's just kind of a rust color. I'm going to run that along the edge of this, where that white was. You put a little of that in there and watch how that just starts to pop for you. Sorry, I got to set that down over there. So I run the orange along there. In that same color, I mix off to the side of it. I just put a pail of white in it. Dit dot Morse code now. This is Morse code. Dit 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 dit. That's gonna give you some rocks that look like there's rocks on that shoreline. I don't know what I was painting. I haven't painted for a while, but I don't know what I was painting last time. There's an awful lot of green in my thinner. I don't know what I had used green for, but anyways, okay. So before I put a few reflections in this in there, I'm gonna take my ultramarine blue and a little black, and I'm just gonna make up like a pitch black. And I'm gonna very carefully, thinly run that along the bottom of this here to anchor that shoreline down. And I know it seems a little thick and a little rough in there. That's okay, because I'm going to put my highlight or my reflections from the rocks that we just put on these Morse code ditty dotties. I'm gonna come along and flick upwards and a little sideways like this, just a little bit of few reflections on there where those rocks are going to reflect, and you can just put them on harsh and then drag your brush across and you can soften that right off. Back here, I'm just going to pull that down. Soften that off a little bit. Just here, I just blend it. Just a little bit of blendy, edgy stuff. And restate that. I kind of over relatively blendy there. There we go. That's better. Couple of last little things here. I am going to take that snow color that I had from up there, and I have this snow here. I'm going to put this, I'm going to do a little reflection, and I'm going to bring that all the way down like that. So it looks like that's reflecting. A little reflection back there.
Pam is asking what color the first set of reflections for the rocky shoreline were.
This color is this dark that we put, that rust color. It's just the rust with white.
Does that answer your question, Pam?
It does. Thanks so much.
You're so welcome.
Hope I'm not going too fast. I'm just going to put one last thing on here. I'm going to show you one last thing. I should have done this earlier. I didn't realize I didn't do it, but I'm just making a really, really light purple. And I'm using my dinky little brush here, and I'm going to do this. Let it wobble. Let it just be loose in your hand. And I'm going to put a few sticks in here. Flip that over and use it again here. A couple of those, maybe one going up here. There, you get a few of those in there. This got a little too much, so tappa, just knock it back a little bit. There you go. Now you got a few sticks in there. I think for me, I want a little more shoreline back here. Sure. Yeah, that feels better. Just a few details to clean it up a little bit as you see fit. You're the artist, you can fix it. There we go. All right. Okay, you guys keep going. Hang on, just ignore me for a sec here.
Doug, did you show everybody that little gadget that you've got your panel in? Those things are amazing. He's gone. Da, da, da. Ta-da! Make a sound, Doug. I can't hear you. Oop. Yep. There you go. Looks great, Doug. Doug, your sound is off.
How did I get my sound?
There we go.
Oh, I'm still on my thing. I thought that shut that off. Okay, hang on.
We lost your voice for a second there.
No, hang on. I know what's wrong. There, you should be able to hear me now. Yes?
Absolutely.
Okay, sorry. I thought my iPad turned off and it didn't, so it just muted. Anyways, so tomorrow we're gonna paint a cow and we're gonna do boxes again, but we're gonna put some funky colors in that aren't in. I'm gonna show you how to funkify it.
Very fun.
less blah, 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 and more paint, paint, paint.
We had to learn the blah, blah, blah.
And
Yes.
slower. And slower, Doug.
And slower, okay, I'll go slower. Cow's easier to go slower.
It would be helpful as well if you told us what the paint colors were ahead of time to mix.
Ooh, I could probably do that.
Thank you.
I'll give you the general, I'll give you the sort of light, medium, and darks anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll do that in the morning before I get on. I'll throw at least 3 mixes together for you.
And we'll have another Zoom link for you in the morning.
Yes,
So,
I will set up another Zoom link so we won't have this problem in the morning. We're just gonna
Yeah.
go zoomity zoom right away. Zoomity
Yeah.
boom.
so check your email about 10 minutes before you get on, and the link will be there. And that works great.
Wow, it's really bright on my phone too.
And
Compared.
Sue, will you share the recording?
As soon as it finishes uploading, I'll share it right away. It sometimes takes a little bit for all of for the file to compress, but as soon as I have it, I'll send it out to everybody, okay?
Would
I'm
that be
gonna
today?
I'm gonna turn the recording off now. I don't think we need it anymore, right, Doug?
No, hang on. Well, yeah, just wait one
Yeah.
sec.
Okay.
Going to do this and see if I can.
Oh, he's gonna do this, he says. This is where he gets out the magic wand.
No, I'm putting it in the chat. I'm gonna send it to myself here. Hang on. I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna put it in the chat so you can have a quick look because it might be a little different from what you're seeing on Zoom. So here.
Great. Doug, it would be really neat to show everybody the panel holder that you had your panel.
Oh
in
yeah,
the-
I will. And give me 2 seconds. I'll show that
Yeah.
too. Okay.
Sure.
I want to go to where is chat? Where is Mr. Chat?
Down the bottom.
There it is. And there, I put the painting in the chat for you.
Beautiful.
And then where did I put this? Okay, so well, you can see on my easel right now, I have my big frame, but this is a fairly big easel. If you have a pretty big easel and you want, like I paint a lot of 5x7s and 6x8s, they don't want to fit on here. This is just too big. So we had these made. It's just a little mini easel with 2 knobs, and this just slides up and down. So this clamps into your easel, and then you make a mini easel out of it. So you can I put even little 4x5s. I just go up there and put these little 4x5s on there, and it just sits on there and you can paint them. I think we're out of stock, but we should have some next week. But I use this all the time for little panels. They just fit better on there. Panels don't want to fit on these big easels. So if you have a big easel, one of these is great. I think they're only $30 or something, so they're cheap.
Yeah, I love mine.
I couldn't live without mine now. For the little paintings,
Yeah.
Doug, when you're painting in oil and you want to add a color on top of wet, I know you've already said don't hardly touch the canvas, but I'm still finding my colors are mixing.
you've got to put more. What kind of medium are you using?
Well, the one you suggested, when
In the beginning, you're going to use thinner, Gamsol or Eco House or whatever. You're going to use
liquid.
So you're probably not adding enough liquid to your paint then.
See, we don't see you do that step.
Yeah, it's because I put a little more, and every time I go over top of paint, you've got to make your paint fatter. So you have to add more liquid. So my first layer, anytime I'm on blank canvas, if I'm on blank canvas, I only use thinner. Once I go paint onto paint, I start adding liquid. And I use it very sparingly in the beginning, and right near the end, if I got to put some big bold marks on near the end, I'll add way more liquid to it.
All right, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Tomorrow, maybe we can have a look at your palette when you're doing that. That would be great.
I'll show that. We can, yeah, I can show. I didn't use a whole lot of liquid on this, but a little bit.
Okay. I'll go over it again to add the liquid and see if I can build the color a little
Yeah,
bit.
I mean, eventually you get too much paint and you can only go so far with it. It'll get
Right.
just too goopy. But the trick is to stay thinner in the beginning so you can get thicker. If you go too thick too fast, you run out of room really quick.
Right.
Does anybody want to pick up their work and show us
Yeah,
with their wet, oily
you can
hands?
probably unpin me now.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that, well, I was trying to follow along doing left-handed, even though I'm right-handed, and it's acrylic, but it was really fun.
Hey,
There. Can you see it?
Let's see.
Can you see?
I'm trying to do the. Oh, Doug, you know what?
I got to make you host again.
Yeah, I think so.
Hostess with the mostest.
I know
No,
my
you're
colors.
host. Your host. There you go.
There we go.
My
My name keeps
my
showing up.
colors
Show
were
that
too
again. I can
dark.
see that. That was good. Lift it up a little bit more. Lift it up. Other way. Other way. Other way. Down. Down. Go down. Go down. Oh, that's awesome. Good boxes. You got boxes. That's awesome.
Well, the boxes are too dark, but that's okay. I
No,
really
don't think
enjoyed.
so. No, because your trees are dark enough. No, I think you're just fine. And I totally get the box idea. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I really had fun. Thanks so much.
That looks great.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Don't be chicken.
I will. My name's Allison.
Okay.
I haven't finished it.
Doug,
It's-
turn your face on.
I haven't finished it.
Oh, that's excellent. That's killer good. Sorry, I went too fast.
That looks great.
Here's mine, the acrylic.
Excellent. Your water's fantastic. That's really good.
Thank you.
Boxes. I see boxes. That makes me very happy. Anybody else? Come on, you chickens.
I'll show mine. It's not very good, somewhat embarrassing, but I got
No, you got boxes.
well,
I think your shadows. Yeah, what happened was, I think you got a little bit too many fleas. That's all.
I got too many white strips trying to
Yeah,
look
a little bit too
little-
many fleas. That's all. But your boxes are there. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, heck, it's very hard to do this when you only have an hour to paint something and I'm yakking in your ear. So don't beat yourself up.
I'll try to show mine. It looks like it's blurry though.
Oh, you
It is. It looks like you
blur my
painted a
background.
foggy scene.
Foggy.
If you go into your video and you unblur your background, that might
Oh, yes.
That's what that is.
That
down
would be
where your
why.
video camera is.
Okay, mine is here. I don't know if you can see. Is it close enough? My paint didn't layer very well, so it's not sharp.
Sorry, let me get on here. Just keep it on there for a sec. All right. Oh, that's good. You got boxes. You got boxes. Excellent.
And when you moved to a new area, I just, moved with you. I didn't want to get behind.
That's fine. No, that's good. That's how you do. You can tweak it and play with it all you want now, as long as you got the boxes.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep up with you guys.
Sorry, I told you I go fast.
Here we go.
Oh, that's spectacular. That's really
Is that
good.
better?
Yeah, that's
It looks
awesome.
blurry still, but that's
No,
okay.
it's good. It's good. You're good.
Okay.
Awesome. You guys did amazing. I'm happy. You got boxes. We're going to do more boxes tomorrow.
Fantastic boxes.
All right. Anybody else? Last thoughts till we go till tomorrow. Any questions?
Anything, anyone?
I'd just like to say thanks for a great workshop and I'm excited about the cow tomorrow.
All right.
Oh, that's so nice. It's gonna be fun.
We're gonna have fun with the cow tomorrow. So 9 by 12, 11 by 14, same size. I'll post in the morning, I'll post we'll have some color mixes for you to go by. So I'll put the color mixes together, and when Sue sends out the email with the link for the Zoom thing, there'll be at least 3 color mixes in there for you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Should we try to send that out tonight then, so people
Yeah,
have?
we'll do it tonight. I'll get her done. I'm gonna do it fairly quick here because there's Mitch will be coming back from the mountains and my neighbors are having a giant block party, so it could get chaotic and I'll never remember tonight. So I'm
Okay.
gonna do it as soon as I get off of here, I promise.
I'll turn the recording off and then I'll phone
Yeah.
you. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that's it. You guys
Good
are
night,
free to
everybody.
go.
Thank you for your
Bye.
questions, and we'll
Thank you.
I'll see you in the morning.
9:30 Mountain Time in the morning.